Nice. There it is. We are on. And my assumption is that everything should work now. Let's just double check. Okay. Nice. Okay. So, today I'm going to try and tune this membrane flute. I have 3 to tune. Hang tight. This one's fresh off the printer. This one. I think I'm going to start with this one because this one's the coolest. So all this is actually give me 1 second. Okay, so here's what we've got. We've got a pipe here, which can be set. I have tape around it. This is supposed to be 100% 3D printed, but my clearance, this is 0 clearance, and it was a little bit too loose. So I just added some tape to add some friction. I don't want to bother reprinting it, but you get the idea. Center tube in there goes down to this column-y thing. And then it's got a little mouthpiece. When you blow in here, air comes out of that hole. So when you take a membrane like this, a lot of people make these. I was watching Nicholas Brass and Bart Hopkins. They're like my 2 inspirations for this kind of thing. Definitely check them both out on YouTube. But the most people will build these with using like a plastic bag or something as the membrane. But I had to do it 3D printed. So this is a this is the thinnest possible TPU thing I could make. It is 3 layers, but they're at 0.1 millimeter, so it's like the thinnest layers I can do. And I just did it in multiple layers to make sure that it's airtight. And that sits in here, and that sits on top of here. And so when you have the middle tube pressed up against the membrane, when you blow into the mouthpiece, it fills up the cavity, and then the air has nowhere to go, so it has to stretch the membrane to sneak under to come out of this tube. And it creates a vibration in the membrane. So I actually started with this guy here. This is like a normal size membrane flute, and you can see it's got a tiny little membrane on there. So I thought I would see what I could get out of making a giant membrane. And it does actually make things, it does change things a bit. So, and I tried some other things, and actually, you know what? What I'll do, because I have 3 of these now, I'm going to have to print more of those pieces. But I also tried printing a different inner tube. So this one has a larger surface for the membrane. And what I found was this actually gave me a lower tone. And since this is going to be kind of more of the bass instrument here, we can go ahead and try and maybe tune this one with that. So And when you blow on it, and so it sounds kind of silly like that, but then you throw on, so this is just an extension tube, and it's really long so that I can actually tune this thing by lengthening or shortening it. I'm just going to take off some of this tape here. And this one I did design it with slightly tighter tolerances so it will really sit on there. See how that's lower already? Now we take another just plain tube, stick that on there. See how low we can get this to go? And I've gone ahead and made some crazy stuff. So this is a super, super long one with a horn at the end just to try out. It's got a kind of trombone vibe now. Isn't that cool? So, it's obviously insanely low. I can change the tone by changing how tight the membrane is. It's counterintuitive too, because it's not necessarily, you don't get a lower note by going tighter necessarily. You kind of got to play with it a little bit. Certain tightnesses will change the resonance of the membrane. So sometimes when you go tighter, it actually goes lower, but I don't know the science behind that. So, I also tried, now let me, I'm just going to put this one aside for a second. I printed another mouthpiece part. Just going to clean this up real quick. Real quick, like, pull off this brim. Quick deburring. Definitely get a deburring tool if you do a lot of 3D printing. Really helps with these brims. I specifically want to clean it up around the mouthpiece more than anything, obviously. Don't want to cut my little lips. Don't want to cut my little lips. Okay. Just like that. Okay, decent. And then again, I'm actually not going to clean this one up because I'm going to use that burr. Oh, there isn't even a burr on this one, but whatever. So for this one, I have a different membrane. If I can find it. It's been pretty chaotic in here, and I'm not going to act like that's new. Where is my membrane? I'm also printing some new material right now, so I'm pretty excited for that. So I'm going to be checking that while we're doing this. The heck did that piece go? Hang tight, everybody. Okay, I'm not finding it. I might have to print another one, which is annoying because I just had it, but chaotic in here. It's always chaotic in here, let's be honest. Huh. I don't know. Is it under my computer? No. Is it under these guys? Also, no. All right, I'm just gonna print another one. Basically, all it is a PLA version of the same thing. Just bear with me. I may as well do this while we're streaming so that it can be done. It's a really quick print because it's just a tiny little membrane. Is this it? Switch now. Oops. Continue. Later. This is not it. No. That's not it. God, oh, giant membrane. Yes. Okay. Just gonna change the printer here. Beam, beam, beam. Sync info. Overwriting. Synchronize now. Okay. We're gonna go extra fine on it. Let's slice this out. 0.08. Slice this out. Boom, boom. Sorry, I know this is not good streaming. Okay. Top surface pattern, concentric. Slice. Yeah, 20 minutes for this, so let's do it. So we'll put a pin in that. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to tune this little guy first, because this is going to be the sort of the main melody machine here. Right? And just for some reference, if I put this on this giant tube, it works. It's really hard to play though, and I think the issue is that there's a lot less air going through the system, so it's a lot harder to blow. I mean, that actually sounds so damn nice. The nice thing about this small membrane is it's a lot easier to hit a single note. There's not a lot of fluctuation in the note, whereas this one, depending on how you blow, you get a bunch of different notes, which makes it harder to play, but you also get a lot of really cool, like you get that typical sort of saxophone squelchiness that I really like. But let's go for ease first. So these are all just plain tubes. But I have one tube where I printed a bunch of holes on it, and this was just in an attempt to kind of see how this would sound. So you can see. So the issue with this is generally when you're making a wind instrument like this, you want the finger holes to be laid out sort of in a natural place, right? So like this is kind of how my hand naturally fits on here. So I'd want one hole here, I'd want one hole here, I'd want one hole here, I'd want one hole here. And you get to prioritize that because you can actually change the note not by the placement of the holes, but by the actual diameter of the holes. So I have a bunch of drill bits, different size drill bits that I'll be using to tune this thing. However, the longer the overall tube is, because the hole distance actually does matter, obviously, because basically what's happening is when you're plugging these holes, you're effectively lengthening. This is the effective length of the tube right now, right where this last hole is. As soon as I cover that up, now this is the effective length of the tube. As soon as I open all these up, now this is the effective length of the tube, right? Now, so that's how the notes change, but when you have such a long tube, the difference between these notes becomes a lot less, if that makes sense. So, for example, you can kind of hear this, like... Like, that's basically a semitone right there. And that's going from all plugged to bottom hole. Now, if I were to take this whole tube away... And now, I'll plug all the holes. I'll stand up so you can see. So this is significantly higher pitched. But if we did the same thing where we went from all holes plugged to, you know, this. Right, that's much more of a difference in the note. So depending on how long the tube is, that dictates where the holes need to be and the size of the holes. And that's why when you look at like a saxophone, instead of holes, like a flute uses holes, but a saxophone has really big holes and they go all the way down that curved pipe of the sax. And instead of trying to plug the hole with your hand, you have to plug it with a button because the holes are like, some of the holes are like that big. So they have pads that block the holes, because for those lower instruments, it's important, or it's necessary, to have the holes spanning the entire instrument, and the holes need to be really big to actually make a difference in the tone. I hope I'm explaining this right. I'm literally just coming up with this on the spot. So, what are we going to do? Because when I want to do the bass instrument, I can't have giant holes everywhere on the thing. But I am building these for a recording situation. I'm not building these for a live situation. So theoretically, what I'm thinking is, like, for the bass version, my goal is going to be to create a modular system so that I can hone in on a single note. And then by just changing the tubing around, I can get the next note, record that, change the tubing around, get the next note, record that. Because the bass line in the song is probably going to be a pretty simple thing. But then for the higher pitched instrument, I do want to be able to play it, because I want to have that sort of like human playability aspect in it. So, I need to kind of figure out what key, and I have a song started already. I did this yesterday on the Super Valid music channel. So I'm kind of doing this whole thing where I'm live streaming all this whole process so that I don't have to think about filming it, and I don't have to worry about memory and stuff. And then I can pull clips from these live streams to put in the video, because I always miss filming stuff. I always forget to film when I need to be filming. So I'm just trying to film the whole thing, and this is the only way that I feel makes sense. But anyways, so today we're going to be working on tuning these things. But so the key of the song, I'm just going to play the instrumental part. I'm going to mute everything else because it's real rough right now. But so, and just for a reference, I do have a MIDI track as well. And this is not going to be in the actual song. It's just a reference for getting tuning on everything right, because it's really hard to tune 3D printed instruments. So we've got a G and we've got a C. So it's basically kind of in the key of G major. There's some other chord changes going on though, but if I can do a G major, I think I can basically play most of the song. So we are getting a G just like that. So maybe what I'll try and do is I'll get a G. Probably want a G root note. So I want to see how I can get a G without using any holes, and then we start drilling holes. Might go octave down from this point even, just so sorry, I'm thinking about this as I'm doing it too, so bear with me. And I basically just printed a bunch of pieces that I can mess around with to try and figure this out. So I want to go down from this. Okay. So that's too low, but now with this long coupler piece, I can tune it by shrinking things. Oops. That sounds nice though. Unfortunately, I made this coupler a little bit on the tight side, so it doesn't actually give me that much leeway. I can also adjust tuning a little bit by playing with the membrane. But the membrane, I like to kind of get it to where it's easiest to play. Oh. It's got oboe vibes. So what am I? Okay, let's pull this off. I have a short little guy here. Okay, now we're in the range, right? So, and actually what I'll do is, let's get a new channel going here. You don't need to see what I'm talking about. I'm just talking out loud here. I'm going to use... I have a tuner on my computer. What is happening? Where's my tuner at, yo? We're a tiny bit sharp, which means if I pull this out just a little bit, that's pretty much a G. Only thing is, I messed up actually. I want one of these tubes to be at the end of this. And actually, now that we've kind of got our G, let's change some things around here so we can see which tube specifically this needs to be on. So we've got the other factor I need to consider, do I want this chromatic? So do I want to be able to play every note, or do I want to just be able to play the notes in the key of G? Ideally, every note would be nice, but that would probably just make my life a lot harder because I'm terrible. I don't actually know how to play instruments like this. Also, I'm noticing getting the G, this is long, so playing it down here is really hard. I can't just move the notes here because this would be a totally different range. So that's why I built the loopy guy, and maybe this is a good opportunity to use the loopy guy. So let's go, let's do it actually. Let's use the loopy loop. Right? Because this puts now the finger holes are here. Oh, that's so low now. It's still low. And I need to be able to add holes here. So that's the other thing. Because this is now kind of becoming like a bass instrument, these holes are in, you know, the distance between the holes doesn't really make a huge difference on the tone. So for example, this is a D. So a D sharp, so we have a D like this. A D sharp is somewhere in between this one and this one. So one semitone is that distance. So you can imagine, like, that's basically saying, and that's just a semitone. If I'm going for a G major scale, I'm going to have a lot of whole tones in there. Obviously, I can't play something like that. So, I think trying to make this a bass instrument, not going to work. I don't know what I was thinking initially there. So let me think about this some more. I shouldn't. Maybe I just don't aim for a G. A G major scale. So a G major scale, the notes we're looking at here. Let me just do this. So we've got... So it's just like a C major scale, except for has an F sharp. Or is it a... Yeah, it has an F sharp in it. So basically, I think what I'm going to do is just try and get this to work with any of the notes in that scale. Might actually just take a break here for a second. Okay, I'll be back. Oh, what's happening? What does this say? Warning. I think my stream was not doing good or something. Oh, my bitrate is low. We recommend that you use what? I can't see. $6,800. What is my bitrate? Okay. Don't know. So, anyways, I'll be right back. I'm just gonna leave this running because I'm just gonna edit this out later. Ooh, yeah, that's looking good. So, I'll be right back. Okay. So yeah. Okay, so what was I saying? Here's what I was saying. Let's minimize that. Oh, oh. Oh, our other print is done. Okay, anyways. So, instead of aiming for a G as the lowest note, because this is already, what's a G? If I did this. Just spitballing here. Just spitballing here, folks. In fact, what does this sound like? Just plain old straight piping. Oh, okay, so this, just one single pipe, regular extension tube, so I have no real tune. I have a little bit of tuning range here, but this does give us a G, all the way up to close to an E. So basically, I'm getting. I should be able to get dun 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 dun, which might be nice. That might be fine. And so the other thing to note is, based on how hard I blow, I can get. Does that work with all the finger holes? So I can get them. You can basically get a whole tone by just changing how hard I blow, but then the volume is crazy different, which will be hard to do without compression because I'm not using compression in this song at all. So I'm not going to worry about that right now. I'm just going to focus on the fact that this is a G. I could just barely get F sharp. What if I messed with this a little bit? Oh. No. That was... Oh, God. It's so finicky. See that? See, I just changed the membrane the tiniest little bit, and all of a sudden, I'm not getting a G anymore. I'm getting like close to an A, and the tone sounds totally different. It actually sounds way nicer. That's sounding more like an oboe or a clarinet, I guess. A little less buzzy. But you know what? Because we're doing 3D printed instruments, kind of like the buzz, because it's so hard to get the high end in any of these. So I actually don't mind that buzz. Okay, I just want to take a break on that specific head because the new one is done, and I want to compare. I want to have all three to kind of compare and figure out which one I want to start on because it's actually I'm actually struggling to figure this out. And what I'm gonna do, I'm actually gonna this is just purely for aesthetic reasons. I'm gonna use the gray guy for this new PLA membrane, right? This one's TPU, this one's flexible. This one is rigid, relatively rigid. And I'm gonna use this one on this one just because the other one's purple. Just like the skin, or the membrane, so I want to use a different color just so it looks a little bit more interesting. And now, check this out. That sounds pretty crazy. What if I just use a straight tube instead of this guy? That was just a plain straight tube, but it's kind of got a weird... Let's try a cleaner one. Let's try the one that we had on mini membrane. So what I really like about the PLA skin membrane is so much character. It's loud. It's aggressive. It's little bit weirder. So one thing I also noticed too is sometimes with different membranes and stuff, and so in this case with a big PLA membrane, adding tubes sometimes makes it go higher, and I don't really understand what's going on there. Right? I just added a tube. Why is it higher? It's so weird, right? So, doing the little skinny guy is not working. I'm gonna try this one. And again, this is like, well, not again, I don't know if I've said this yet, but this is all just, like, I have no idea what's going on with a lot of these. I think one of the key things is you really got to make sure this part, the surface is really flat so that when the membrane is sitting up against it, it's got a nice airtight seal, otherwise it doesn't really work. That's quite nice. And this is getting back into what I was saying earlier, how this bigger membrane has a lot more you can do with it, like without adding any holes and stuff. Like that is like approaching interesting saxophone territory. I don't know. It's just out of curiosity, because it seems like for whatever reason adding pipe makes this go higher. Wow. Like, that sounds so good, this. But it's so unstable. Does it even need? need this. I think I just gotta start drilling and guessing, really. Like, I'm trying to do educated guesses on this. I'm trying to be methodical about this, but at the same time, so many factors. Like, why does that sound different now? It's so interesting how the hardest one to get a consistent tone sounds the best, in my opinion. Okay, one thing I have to do is add some tape to this because it is slipping all over the place. Actually, I want to go back to this guy for a second here. Our original tip. This one's nice because it has a little chamfer. So I think that's going to help with consistency. Don't know. Yeah, it seems to help with consistency. Consistency has gone out the window. Like, that is like soprano sax territory, I think. I don't know. I don't actually remember. It's been a long time since I've been in band. Does adding a horn do anything? That's so weird. An additional just like aspect to all of this is the fact that expelling this much air consistently is quite difficult for somebody that doesn't do that a lot. So like, that's kind of nice too. Sounds like a trumpet now. I like it, but okay, so this is hard mode. Let's put that to the side. Let's go back to a regular membrane. because that is hard. I'm going to smooth this guy out. Just this edge here. And I'll see if that makes it a little easier to play, because this should allow air to kind of get underneath the seal a little bit easier, I'm thinking. I'm doing a really bad job with this, but we'll just try it out. Let's see if it actually does anything. I mean, I have no reference now because I'm switching to the TPU membrane, but it's kind of, when it comes to like the scientific method of doing things, I can't say I'm the best. I just love exploring, you know? I just love going places. I don't want to have to think about it too much. Okay. I want to add some tape. Where's my tape? What kind of tape? Tape kind of just bunches up in there. Didn't really work that well, but that sounds crazy. Let's just send it. Let's just go right to this bad boy. See what happens. Once again, the holes really don't make a big difference once you get that low, once you get that far down the pipe. Cat's doing some exploring. See, like, that works pretty good. Doesn't sound that good to me. Sounds real farty. Sounds real, like, not consistent. The notes are all over the place. Like, this sounds like a bad kazoo. That actually sounded, first note was pretty good. It's kind of a cool part. It sounds so goofy, and it's so hard to maintain a proper pitch. I don't know what to do about that. The tape didn't work on this at all. Going back to this guy on the regular membrane. For anybody wondering, this is why these videos take so long. It's just a lot of this. Oh. Okay, this one's slipping now, so I need to add tape around the outside. Yeah, it's a lot of this. And I suck at, like... I suck at sticking to one thing. I'm pretty okay at, like, you know, I have a goal in mind, and I'll get it done. But I'm really bad at, like, managing my time and focusing on a specific task. Because I I've got, you know, I don't try to, but I tend to have multiple things happening at once. Different prints going, you know, I'm working on the song simultaneously as I'm doing this. And when I get frustrated, I just abandon stuff for a little bit. So, you know what? That's not going to be nice. I'm going to cut this. This is somehow the dullest knife now. What happened? This was such a sharp knife. That's a little bit easier. I'm into that. So this is feeling better. I think what I want to kind of achieve is figure out at what pipe length does one of these produce an octave. Because then that means technically if I have a full octave on one of these tubes, which means when the tube is on, it's one note. When I remove it, it's at least an octave higher. Theoretically, that will mean that I will be able to put all of my notes on one tube, which would be nice. Not necessary, though, because I've got two hands. Actually, that's a good point. I could spread this out a bit more. Because I actually am going to need to use two hands if I want to play this properly. So cool. So cool. Okay. Watching this after the fact, that's super cool because no one is watching it right now, which is nice. Oh, Pizza texted me. Pizza texted me. They want me back. Want me back. Who can blame them? Who can blame them? Okay. So this is the shortest way I can get here, and it produces an instrument. I might have to put some holes on the curved pipe, which I didn't really want to do. That sounds pretty good. So I'm hitting an F. And actually, that would be kind of cool. I kind of like this arrangement. I'll explain it in a second. I'm hitting an F. I want to hit a G. So I need it to go lower. So I need this to be a little bit longer. So I am going to use my long tube, which lets me kind of adjust a little bit better. Ugh. Oh, it's so tight. I literally added, because these were printed with 0. Like, I don't remember what the number was, but if this was 1 inch, this was also printed at 1 inch. And it's like, it's perfect, but it's too loose. So I literally added 0.01. Oh, I added 0.01 inches, didn't I? Not millimeters. Anyways, it's just a slightly too tight now. It's just a slightly too tight now. Okay, let's see where we're at with this. Oh, I need to go higher, not lower. I'm hearing a weird sound. It's kind of nice. It's like a overtone, but this guy might be able to do everything I need it to do. I want to go higher. Which is okay. Oh, it's too tight now. I like this horn. I printed this kind of as a joke because it's so silly looking. Kind of like it. Now this makes for a very awkward. I can't play something like this. If it was like this though, that would be dope. If it was like this though, that would be dope. It's gonna be so low. It's the opposite of low. It's actually nice. So I'm getting a G sharp. That sounds pretty sick. I'm liking it. I don't know what any of this means. Ooh, why does that look bad? Oh god, why does it look so bad? Apologies, I'm just... Is that like too hot now? So it's a little high. The pitch is a little high on this, which means I need to lower it. So I need to lengthen it slightly. Great. Ooh. Don't really have a lot of range there. Don't really have a lot of range there. This is a broken piece, and it has one hole, but if I go like that, now it's fine. Now it works. Okay, so this is a little bit too low. So theoretically, I can adjust that. That's nice. It's a little too high now. God, it's so hard to adjust. I'm just trying to get a G. That's all I want, G. I also have to make sure I'm plugging these holes perfectly. That sounds pretty good. How does that sound in the context of this? Nice. Okay, so that's the G sounds nice. That's kind of nice, actually. Just gonna record it just for funsies. Now, where does the sound actually come out of? Is it coming out of the mouthpiece or is it coming out of the horn? Who knows? Let's try it both. I know this is supposed to be the workshop channel. I haven't done any actual building yet, but yeah. Couldn't sound any fartier. It literally couldn't sound fartier. I want to hear it in the context. Ah, shit. Oh. There's a switch on this microphone. Yeah. Low pass. Okay. Or high pass. Let's re-record this. I gotta turn the speakers off. This is gonna sound dumb for you guys for a second. Oh, this is great actually. I'll be able to use this to figure out where the sound is coming from. Okay, this is interesting. I'm gonna record both and I'll show you the results. Record both, I'll show you the results. So let's go with Not in tune. You can't hear it yet. And then I'm going to do it through the horn. And I'm going to mute the old one here. So cool. Okay. Oh, actually, I think you can hear this. I think you can hear what I can hear, right? So it's kind of cool, really hard to tune. Kind of like it. Okay, interesting. I've experimented enough with this. Well, no, I haven't. I'm gonna experiment way more. But I want to try drilling some proper finger holes. Try drilling some proper finger holes. I have quite a few of these tubes because I printed a bunch. Because when I can't think of anything to print, I just print stuff that I know I'm gonna want to experiment with. So what I'm gonna do here, I'm gonna mark one of these out. Nice. Nice. So I know that's kind of where the halfway point is. It's gonna be similar. Oh. Okay. So, you know what? I'm gonna do 4 holes per tube, and that should let me mess around with it. So let's go. Let's go like, what's a comfortable playing position like? Can't be too comfortable. Don't wanna fall asleep. playing this thing. Okay. Okay. And I'll do a little. Oh, cool. It's actually, I've never written on a 3D printed part before. Look how fun this is, though. It just kind of seeps in there. That's so cool. That's so fun. Okay. Look at that. It just seeps everywhere. That's fun. Okay. So that's... I'm doing this right here. What I'm going to do... I have a workshop. I have a proper place to do this stuff. But I ain't doing that. I ain't doing that. Okay. Printer. Ooh, that looks so bad. What is going on? I'm just going to let it run now. Okay. Can't see that. Drill bits. Drill bits of varying sizes. Start with the smallest one. Not really for any other reason than just like... And I'm just going to go for it. You know, I tried to think about this methodically. I didn't enjoy that process, so... I'm just going to go for it, and I'll figure out how to play it after the fact. So, this first hole is mostly for pre-drill, but let's mess with it anyways. I'm going to do one hole at a time as well. Let's see if this does anything at all. I want to test this on... No, I'll test it. I'll test it on. So we're going to place the midsection here, and I'll just drill it while it's on there. Who gives? So that makes 0 difference. So next size up. It gets crazy in here, yo. This is why also, like when it comes to files and stuff, like 3D print files and everything, I rarely, it's not really as easy as just like, oh yeah, I can just upload it. I want to upload it. But I do things so chaotically that I don't really have anything ready and I have to figure that out. Okay, let's try it again. So, once again, there's our hole. Weird, it just changes the tone. It doesn't actually change the note. Next size. This one, I guess. this should make a difference. I'm just going to leave it probably there. Weird. So crazy. I can feel a little jet of air coming out of this hole at the frequency of the vibration of the membrane. Really cool. Okay, next size, because that clearly also did nothing. We should be getting to close to the size of the hole. Right? Should we be close to the size of the hole of the actual what I had before? Okay, and the hole's starting to get real messy, but I've got this nifty little guy. Oh yeah, just making a mess of that one. Okay. That's making a difference. I don't know why I'm surprised. It's obvious that it would make a difference. That is mellow. I want to make the hole bigger. I'm going to make the hole bigger. I just got to look at this quickly. I'm going to make the hole even bigger because that's what exploration's all about, is making the hole bigger. This is a nasty drill bit. Is that the biggest drill bit I got in here? It's kind of dumb. Okay, so I could just make it bigger with that thing. I think that's what I'll do from now on. It's really quite mellow. It's quite mellow at that point. I'm just gonna drill. God, I'm impatient. I'm just gonna drill the rest, you know? Because I kind of deciphered the fact that it doesn't seem to make a huge difference. Honestly, kind of hard to believe. I'm not going to drill them all max size, though. I do want to play around with this. I'm going to take the horn off just for... It was kind of like getting in my way, freaking me out a little bit. I didn't like it so close to my head. Oh yeah, it's for this hand. Minimal difference. Minimal difference. Clean these up in a minute. These make no difference. I mean, they make a difference. They don't make a lot of difference. So I'm just gonna make them all kind of pretty big. What happens if I pull this off? Yeah, I need this to make that range. Oh, but the horn, just for cool factor. Holy. don't know what I'm doing. Wind instruments are not my forte. Just building instruments in general is like... I've built guitars before, but like out of wood. And there's just so much resources out there. So the difference between these two notes is minimal. So I'm wondering if I just make that hole ginormous. If that will help me. God, this looks disgusting. I like it. Okay, I'm not feeling like this is making a huge difference, so let's do something drastic and abandon that and go with a straight pipe. Oh no, it's backwards. Oh wait, I should flip this around, can't I? Learning so much. Now this one makes such a big difference. I'm like not happy with this finger placement either. There's so many interesting's a funny way to put it. There's so many factors that make this difficult. Like it seems like the longer the tube, the more consistent of a note, of a single note I can get by blowing on this. But then the way harder it is to make finger holes without doing the pads and all that sort of stuff. And then the shorter it is, the easier it is to make these finger holes actually make a difference in the tone. But the harder it is to get a consistent note. That is a garbage scale. Like, that is not a scale. That is not a scale I'm going for. What happens if I do this? Alright, let's try the mini membrane. See if my finger holes did anything. Oh, it's close. It's close, but it's dumb. Okay, I'm getting slobber all over these. I gotta dry them out a little bit. I think maybe we'll call it on this one. I gotta clean up here. It's getting a little too crazy here, and I'll mess around. Well, I'm not. I won't do too much off stream. I just want to kind of want to go eat some stuff and then come back. This is where I'm at, and I might fool around a little bit, but we'll see. We'll see. Just my brain's getting a little tired. Okay. Thanks so much.